The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. Robert 2. Do you believe that? Tell me, are you struggling with something right now? I bet you are. In fact, I bet you've been struggling with this for a while now. But let me ask you, what's this something that's stopping you from making progress? What's this something that's preventing you from achieving your dreams? What is blocking your path? I know. That might be a hard question to answer right away. Sometimes you may not realize what's truly blocking your path. Even the children of this noble king's story weren't aware of it until they finally saw someone who didn't let an obstacle dictate their journey. To know more, you want to stick around all the way to the end on today's story to find out. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. Once upon a time, in a nation, there was a noble king. The king of this nation had several sons and daughters, but couldn't choose who would ascend their throne after him. He believed that they were still naive and didn't know much about the world outside the castle wall. Because of their lavish lives, the children were spoiled, gave up easily, and always complained about everything. So the king decided to show them a valuable lesson. In the middle of the night, while the townspeople were still sleeping, the king called for a council and ordered this to his men. He said, "Search for a gigantic heavy boulder. Place it in the middle of the road near the kingdom's gate. But be discreet and leave immediately once the task is done." The king, along with his children, watched over the men. They witnessed how the group of men, muscular and well-trained soldiers of the kingdom, struggled a bit with carrying the boulder. Meanwhile, the children are watching all this just confused. They didn't know what the father was up to. Once the task was done and the boulder was successfully placed, the king took his children to the top of the highest watchtower, where they waited to see if anyone would move the boulder. The king's rich courtiers were the first to approach the kingdom's gates. When the courtiers discovered the huge boulder, they openly blamed the king for not maintaining his roads. What a good-for-nothing king. How does he expect to run a kingdom if he couldn't take care of such a simple problem? Such an ignorant king. I bet he doesn't care about our convenience at all. And they continued to curse and complain, yet did nothing to remove the large boulder out of the road. Instead, the courtiers merely walked around the boulder and marched into the kingdom in annoyance. Then, a group of traveling monks soon approached the gates. Interpreting the boulder as a sign of divine intervention, the monks stopped their tracks to do a small meditation. Moments later, they continued their journey, but left the boulder still blocking the middle of the road. The king's children were aspirated. They waited for hours and hours. Then one of them said, "How come no one has decided to move the boulder?" "You're right," said the princess. "How come no one wanted to move the boulder?" Soon the kingdom's most righteous knight came. He was a strong warrior who brought fame and glory to the kingdom. The children's eyes lifted up in expectations. This is it, they thought. He will surely move the boulder. The knight glanced at the massive rock and hurriedly took off to report the obstruction to the king. The monarchs observed many men pass the route as they went to dusk, yet none attempted to move the boulder. They were starting to lose hope until a lowly peasant arrived. The peasant's arms were stuffed with vegetables, and his back carried heavy sacks of charcoal. When he drew closer to the boulder, instead of simply walking around it like the others, the peasant dropped his load and attempted to move it to the side of the road. Now, this boulder was heavy, but very slowly, and after a lot of effort, sure enough, he succeeded in moving the heavy boulder. The peasant was just about to continue his journey when he noticed a small purse laying in a road where the boulder had been. The peasant took out this purse, and to his surprise, it was filled with several tokens of gold and the kingdom's royal seal. Back at the watchtower, the king turned to his children, who were all surprised by the results. "My dear children," he says, "you see, every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve your condition. And just as you will one day lead the country, you must face these obstacles and overcome them." Have you ever frequently complained about life's difficulties as if life were a thorny path? And that's true, life is not an easy path. It's never always sunshine and rainbows, and things aren't always how you want them to be. The journey may be difficult and taxing, but what matters is your attitude and your actions. Oftentimes, we're bound to have things blocking our way. But you know what most people do? Most people refuse to accept that. Every obstacle is an opportunity waiting to reveal itself. Obstacles don't have to stop you. In fact, the greater the obstacle, the greater the victory. Obstacles are the stepping stones to success. You can't be lazy and not do anything about it. You shouldn't complain and just leave your mouth to do the job. That's not how it works. That's not how success works. To live, you need to work hard and overcome the obstacles. Life can throw you challenges, but what you do with it is more important than the obstacle itself. What you do with the challenge is more important than the challenge itself. It's like when you're working out. Your muscles are in pain, but they're actually breaking down. And then eventually they start to repair themselves. At the end, you get stronger, you get more conditioned. The peasant not only got monetary reward, but also personal progress. He got patience and strength after removing that boulder. But look at it this way. What would your life be without challenges and struggles? Now don't say peaceful. Perhaps. How about this way? What happens when you don't work out? See? Eventually you become stagnant and you don't progress. And if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, sadly, you're dying. And believe me when I say, if everything in life turned out to be nice and ideal, life would become terribly boring, dull, without any challenge or excitement. So challenges, look at them as opportunities. Move that rock in your life, that boulder that's standing there, and believe me, when you do, and you will be rewarded in a great way. As the famous Zen proverb goes, obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing, commenting below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest update. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling inspired.